Okay, so today is an extension of last Friday when we found slopes from a table. Okay, I know it's kind of hard to see on my board, but I gave it to you on your sheet, so you should be good. All right, so what we're doing today is we're going to find the equation of this table, but the equation of this table, but now the slope is not perfect. So we've got to find our best guess of what it is. And it's really simple to do, okay? A student takes small steps away from a motion detector at approximately constant rate. The time in seconds for which the student walks and the distance in meters the student walks are recorded on the table. It wants us to generate a linear function model for the situation. And then it says, based on your model, how far away will the student be? So when we found slope the other day, what we did was we took this minus this and we put it over this minus this. So 0.85 minus 0.25. Okay? So that's what we're doing, is we're finding the difference. It's called finite differences. So on this, since they're not all accurate, what we're going to do, put your phones up, is we're going to go down the table and we're going to subtract it, and then we're going to find the average rate of change. Okay? So you do the second minus the first, second minus the first, the back minus the front. Okay, just like this. So when we did that, you got 0.6, 0.7, 0.65, and 0.55. Yes, except for now, since they're not all perfect, what we're doing is we're going to find the average finite difference, which means, what does average mean? Like if I'm asking you, how do I find your average for the 6 weeks? What am I going to do to all your grades? I'm going to add them up, and then I'm going to do what to them? I'm going to divide them. Finite? It's just like where it's not like perfect, but it's close. Approximate, yes. Good. Okay. So you got 0.6 plus 0.7 plus 0.65 plus 0.55. That equals 2.5. And you're going to divide it by however many that you added together. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So the approximate slope is 0.625. When I write it into an equation, I write y equals, okay, I'm going to write it bigger, and then it goes 0.625. Slope always gets what letter? X. Okay. And then you have to have a y-intercept. Somebody remember from last Friday, how do I find the y-intercept of a table? I just look for when x equals 0. Last Thursday. 0. So I look at this table. This is where x is 0. So I know my slope is 0.25. Now it says, use your linear function model to make the prediction. So remember, it wants to know, how far away will the student be after 10 seconds? Seconds is what value? What is this, x or y? Yes, the seconds is the x value. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 10 and you're going to plug it in for x. So 10 is going to go right there. That's what happened right here. And when you solve, you got 6.5, which means they're going to be about 6.5 meters away. Okay, so what I want you to do now, that's your notes, is get out a sheet of paper, and we are going to do 2 of those 4 problems together. So get out a sheet of paper, and we are going to do 2 of those 4 problems together. Okay, Charlie, I'm just going to start reading this while y'all get your paper out. Bless you. Charlie is measuring his little brother's height throughout the year to see how much he grows. The table below shows the height changes during the first 5 months. So what is he doing? What is Charlie doing? Growing. His brother is growing, right? Okay. All right, so it says write a function to model the situation. So the first thing we need to do is find the slope. How do I find the slope? What do I do to this table? Yeah, you just subtract it. Now, what is a common mistake that can be made right here? Right. Instead of doing the second minus the one before it, people will do that one minus the second one. Okay. So make sure you do the second one minus the first one. So this is 54.2 minus 54, which gave us what? Huh? Yep. And then 54.45 minus 54.20. 0.25. This one minus this one. So 0.85 minus 0.45 is 0.4. 55.1 minus 54.85 is 0.25. 55.25 minus 55.1, 0.15. Yes. So now that you found all the differences, what am I going to, well, you don't have to write the table. You can just, we're just doing the math. So you're going to add them all up first. Because to find the average, we add them together. And then what do I do to all those after I add them? Divide them by 5, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what does that top number give me? When I add all these up, what does it give me? 1.25. And then divide it by 5, what does that give me? 0.25. So y equals 0.25, and slope always gets what? The x, yes. Now I need my y-intercept. Where do I go to find my y-intercept? Yes, you go where x is 0. X is on top. Here's the 0. So the y-intercept is 54. Good job. Okay, now on number 8, it says, what do the slope and y-intercept mean? So we've got to explain what these mean. So you're going to have to do a little bit of thinking. Not too much, just a little. So again, this is Charlie measuring his brother. We agree on that, right? And he's recording it month by month. How much Charlie does what? Grows. So this 0.25 is your slope. That's how much what? Charlie is growing. Not Charlie, I guess his brother. Increase in height. You can put per month. Okay. Now, the y-intercept is 54, which is what? What do you think that means? Exactly. That's how tall he was when they started. So that's your starting height, initial height. Can't spell. however you want to put it. Proud of you. Good job, class. This is when y'all start waking up in the day, I feel. It always is. Third period livens up for me. Use your model to predict Charlie's brother's height after a year. So it's not that hard. How many months are in a year? Okay. Is the X or Y months? So what are you going to do with that 12? Yep, you're just going to plug 12 in for X. And you can put that directly in your calculator. So how tall is he going to be? How many quarters are in a whole inch? Yeah. What'd you say? 4. Okay. How many? So he's going to grow 1 inch in 4 months. So how many sets of 4 months are in a year? 3. So he's going to grow a total of how many inches? 3. Which if you put that in your calculator, it would give you 57 too. Now, in what month will his height be 56 inches? Now, think of what we just said. There are 4 quarters in 1 inch. So if we want to go from 57 to 56, how many months are we going to go back from 12? 4, right? So what month is he going to be 56 inches? Month 8. Or you can put 56 in for Y and solve. Either way. Okay, now we're going to talk about Jeff. Jeff has a lot of time on his hands, and he noticed that the nutrition information on the box of cereal says that there are 14 servings in a cereal box. He decided to put their claim to the test. He recorded the weight of the remaining cereal after each serving, and then he did a table because Jeff is awesome. Okay? So it says, write a function rule that models the situation. So first, what do we got to do? Subtract it. Find the difference. 12.7 minus 14. Negative 1.3. 11.6 minus 12.7. Correct? 10.7 minus 11.6. What is it? What? No, it should be 0.9. 9.5 minus 10.7. Wait, what is it? 1.2. You're right. 8.4 minus 9.5. So funny now that I said that, I thought my last class, one of our admin was in here watching, and I thought that number was wrong. They told me it was 1.1, and I wrote it and went along with it. Whoops. Oh well, life happens. We got the same answer, so it doesn't matter. All right. So now what do we do with all those numbers? You add them up. So it's negative 1.3 minus 1.1 minus 0.9 minus 1.2 minus 1.1. And then you divide by however many times you found the difference, which would be 5. So I think this is negative 5.5. 6. divided by 5. Negative 1 point what? All right. So that, what did we just find? Your slope or your y-intercept? Your slopey. Okay. Now, how do I find my y-intercept? Go to 0. Circle it. So what's my y-intercept? All right. So now let's talk about what these mean. Slope. So this is, okay, so he has his box of cereal. And he's doing what to this cereal? After he does what? He eats the cereal, so he's pouring it out. Then he's measuring the box. Pouring it out, measuring the box. Pouring it out, measuring the box. So what does the slope mean? So that's how much is in each serving that he pours out of the box, right? So that is ounces per serving. If you would just put what the y is and then put per and then put the x, that's exactly what it is. All right, what about your b? What about your y-intercept? What is that? The starting weight. I heard somebody say that. Initial weight in ounces. Was Jeff able to confirm the claim on the cereal box by eating 14 servings? So was Hefe able to squeeze out 14 servings out of this box? Servings is what value? X. So exactly. So you're going to do 1.12. Instead of X, you're going to put in a 14 plus 14. And then you're going to solve. So what does that give you? Negative 1 point what? So was he able to get his servings? No, he wasn't. How much was he short? Negative 1.6 ounces. So were they lying when they said 14 servings? They were. Now,